Hi, this is Simon from HomeKit News, and this week we're looking at the Sensibo Air, the company's first official HomeKit compatible smart AC controller. It's the smallest option of its type, but let's see how it stacks up against the competition. Keep watching to learn more. So what we have here is another example of a device that replaces the remote that comes with your AC unit, namely the Sensibo Air, that essentially gives you smart control over your AC. It is of course HomeKit compatible and also works with all the other usual suspects, including SmartThings and IFTTT. Now the box doesn't come with the HomeKit logo or any other logo for that matter, but rest assured it does work with HomeKit. So first let's see what's inside the box. The first thing to greet you is a welcome message on an inner card, which also holds the Sensibo Air, which as stated is very small. Now this card advises you to download the Sensibo app, which you will need initially. Before anything else though, here are some basic specs for the device, so pause the video if you wish. The Air is a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi device that also uses Bluetooth for initial setup only. In addition to the IR receiver, it has a temperature and humidity sensor and can work with any regional voltage standard via a USB power supply. It's certainly one of the smallest controllers I've come across, including the recently reviewed AmbiClimate Mini. You can check out our video review of the Mini via the link above. On the back of the device there are some rubber feet for placing it on a flat surface, along with an option to wall mount it using the included screw holder. There's also a QR code, although this is for the Sensibo app, not for HomeKit. The front is home to the IR blaster, which lights up when operated as seen here. Like the packaging, the Sensibo Air is fairly minimalist, and that's pretty much it for the main device, so let's see what else is included in the box. Included is a USB power cable, and unlike some devices I've recently reviewed, the Air uses a standard micro USB cable, not USB-C. Still, it's not as though it's going to be regularly unplugged, so I can live with it. You can see the micro USB port on the back of the Sensibo Air, and if it's wall mounted it may be trickier to plug back in if you do need to remove it at some point. The provided power supply in this case has a Type A plug, but generally speaking most USB power supplies will work just fine. The final piece of the package is a double-sided sticking pad to wall mount the Air if you don't want to place a screw or nail into your wall. Now that's everything, so let's have a more detailed look at the Sensibo Air itself. On the left hand side of the Air there's a tiny grill that houses the temperature and humidity sensors, and next to that you have a pinhole for resetting the device as needed. The temperature is displayed on the tile in the Home app and the humidity is visible in the settings section of the Home app. Now on the front, as previously shown, is a small panel that is home to the IR transmitter, along with the company logo that lights up every time the unit is controlled. Now you can't disable the LED as far as I can see, but it's so small I don't think it really matters, as it's off for most of the time anyway. Finally, onto the bottom edge of the device, and there's a small cutaway section for the USB cable to reach the USB power port on the rear of the device. It really is quite a small device and measures only 2.5 inches wide and tall and only 1/3 of an inch deep. When it comes time to add the Air, you need to initially start off in the Sensibo app. You pick the relevant device from the list, create a home and a room to add it to, which also requires you to grant permission to location services. It'll then look for the device's Bluetooth signal, then scan for your Wi-Fi network. You add your Wi-Fi credentials, then finally scan the QR code on the back in order to add the device to your network. Once added, it'll ask you to point your AC's original remote at the Sensibo so it can identify and replicate the functions of your AC remote. After that's done, in the settings there's a HomeKit option which will simply reveal the HomeKit QR code you require in order for you to add it to HomeKit, which can be done via the Home app of course. In the Home app you get the standard thermostat tile, and long pressing on it will take you into the thermostat user interface. The Air allows for 4 modes, with auto being the additional mode. One thing I did notice is that whilst you're able to set the temperature in half-degree steps, the thermostat will round up to the nearest whole number. Now I'm not sure if this is a HomeKit or Sensibo issue, but it should be addressed. Let's have a look at the Sensibo app and what it has to offer. So first of all, you get more control over the AC and of course more modes. You have a schedule section, and the events tab shows details on control of the Sensibo as well as temperature and humidity data. Sensibo also offer a plus option that adds even more functionality for a monthly or yearly fee. Notifications are a strong point in the app, and you can get push notifications on a variety of actions which goes beyond the simple options offered in the Home app. Credit to Sensibo here for even including a variety of language options, which includes Arabic and Hebrew for example. One extra I particularly like is the Sync AC option, which allows you to set the correct mode for the AC if it has become out of sync, which is usually when someone has used the original remote control to change your AC state. As I've tested a few different AC controllers, I thought it would be good to do some basic comparisons, starting with the Tado Smart AC control. Now the Tado is HomeKit compatible, it can be wall mounted, but it only comes with 3 modes, but it does have a physical on-device control. It's not widely available outside the EU however. Onto the AmbiClimate 2, and it offers AI functionality for free, has additional light sensors and offers 4 modes. However, it can't be wall mounted and it's not officially HomeKit compatible. Next up is the AmbiClimate Mini, which offers AI functionality via a subscription, also has additional light sensors, includes 4 modes, and in this case can be wall mounted. However, like the AmbiClimate 2, it's not officially HomeKit compatible. The Aqara P3 is next, which is officially HomeKit certified. It only has 3 modes, but it does include a Zigbee 3 hub. The negatives are that it uses the less common 16 amp Chinese plug and can only be used with the mainland China server in the Aqara app. And lastly, back to the Sensibo Air, which is of course HomeKit compatible, includes the 4 modes, can be wall mounted, and is the smallest of the bunch. The downside is the price, making it the most expensive option in this case. Finally, onto the pros and cons. And in its favour, if you want something to be discreet, this is possibly the smallest AC controller I've seen so far, and aside from the small LED, it's hardly noticeable at all. Now, unlike many AC controllers in HomeKit, this also has auto mode, which is also nice to have. I did find the sensors to be uncommonly accurate compared to some, including the Tado for example, which relies on an offset feature when their temperature sensors appear to be out by a certain amount. The Sensibo app has a lot of options for notifications, although of course they don't originate from the Home app, although they're still useful. I've found the Sync Power State option to be a small but useful add-on in the rare instances when someone has changed the state of the AC with the original remote. Now the only real negative I've already mentioned is the price, which is quite steep compared to the Tado, which is around 2/3 of the price, but with an additional included physical control panel. So Sensibo may want to look at the pricing, in my opinion. So that's our overview of the Sensibo Air, but do check out the in-depth written review for more details. Until the next time, thanks for dropping by, and I hope you come back for our next video. Bye for now.